Hi everyone, so this is part 4 of our video and we're going to look at tab set panels and margins and how we lay out some of the user interface, maybe thinking how the user is going to use it rather than just having plots plotted randomly on the page. So we're going to have a tidy up. It's a slightly different format to some of my previous videos, and my lovely friend Henry is helping me out, and we're going to do it as a tutorial session. So I hope you enjoy, and let me know if you have any questions and leave them in the comments or on my Facebook page. Thank you very much.
All right, and you're recording. Now let me move me over here.
Just as my camera turns off.
Oh, that's okay. Alrighty, where do you need me to start?
Okay, so do you want to just run the program to start with?
Sure.
And then we can just have a look and see what we've already got and what we're playing with. So if you just make it a bit bigger, it should come up with all 4 plots. So this is what we did in the previous tutorials, was to design and have a look at the different types of plots that we could show. So we've got plot, we've got plotly, ggplot and ggplotly. So this is the same data all being shown in different packages, just to kind of see what the differences are and how we might explain those. So what I thought we would do now is put it in so that we've got the tab set panels and we can switch between each of them so that they have their own special area to have each. So
Right. Sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Cool.
close that
Yeah.
and lead me,
So
Obi Kenobi.
so where we've got dashboard body, we actually want to move that down. Yeah. Sorry, underneath dashboard body. Okay. So this is where we're going to put our tab set panel.
Let me make this a little
So,
bigger. All right, tab set panel.
yep. And we're going to give it an ID. So I'm not very creative, so I tend to just call it ID equals tabs. And that needs to be in quotation marks. Okay. And remember our commas at the end of all our UI. And then we can start looking at the tab panels. So just press enter and we've got tab panel. And we give that a title. Now our first plot is just the standard plot from Shiny, so or we can just call it plot. As I say, I'm not very creative with these names. Okay, and then I like to put it in a column. I think it looks a lot less squished if we put it within a column. So if we do column, and then we want width is equal to 12. And if you remember, 12 is the maximum width of whatever we're working within.
Okay.
So that will give us that. And then we want to keep it in its box. So what we can do now is actually copy what we've got underneath. So from the box, underneath it, from line 35 and 37. So that bit, you can just cut and paste it. Or copy and
Oh,
paste.
cut it? Okay.
Yeah, because we don't need it anymore. Don't need the
Just
34.
box, yeah.
That's it.
Cut that. And just here?
Yeah. And remember the comma.
Comma.
That's it. Okay, so that's our first tab set panel. So now we want to move on to the next tab set panel. So if we find where the end of that one is, that's it.
Comma.
Yeah. And do exactly the same again. So we've got tab panel.
You want to copy this?
Well, you just need to be a little bit careful copying that because you've got plot output for this one. The next one's plot the output. So you need to copy it from the line 42, 43, 44. But you still need to keep that tab panel and give it a title and give it a column.
Okay. So again, here just do title?
You need tab panel first, and you've actually got an extra bracket on line 30 at the end of column. There. That's it. So the column should.
Okay.
So tab panel.
Oh, sorry. Tab. And
Okay.
same thing again. Title.
Yeah, title. And this one can be called Plotly. Yep. That's it. Keep the width equal to 12. Okay.
Just to make it singular.
By changing the status, if we wanted to, of the box, that actually changes the header color on the box.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Yeah.
So that's why you see the apps that have like red, blue, purple, all that stuff
Yeah.
up there. Okay.
And this Plotly output. So you need Plotly opposed to plot output. Since this is a Plotly plot, it won't plot if you just call plot.
Okay. Output, and you want to do this one? Name.
So it's displot Plotly is it's on line 47.
Ah, thank you. All right, then we can kill this. This plot. Let me just open it.
You can delete all the way from 42 down if you want, because you've already got that now.
42 to 48?
49.
14. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
So now we're on our next tab panel.
Same thing again?
Yep. Slightly repetitive, this bit, but...
We'll call it training.
This one's ggplot.
Like that?
Yep. By doing something over and over again, though, it gets it in your mind, doesn't it? And
absolutely. That's how we learn math. That's why we do thousands of math problems.
I was doing random maths questions on the beach and using a stick and writing out maths problems in the sand for my degree, for my revision.
I would never torture myself like that ever again.
I got some very strange looks. I have a feeling this one's a plot output. Yeah, so this is a ggplot, so it's just a plot output.
Okay. And do dist plot.
Plot.
GG.
Underscore, yeah. I told you I'm really creative with the names.
It works for me. Simple is better. All right, so we can kill 48 to 51.
52 as well. So. And then last one.
How did I lose my... There it is.
That's it.
This one is...
ggplotly.
Did you ever program with the Atari?
No.
So you never did any BASIC or anything?
No.
This is very similar to BASIC. Like it's you just say what you want. You know, I want width 12. You know what I mean? Like it just
it's
not nearly as complicated as other stuff. That's one of the things I love about it. Well, I'm kind of becoming an R-Shiny convert.
I do like it. It's very you tell it what you want, and it does basically. And I think it's one of the reasons why I get on with it as well as I do, because I'm very much, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to search for. This is okay. This is what I've managed to get. So this is a Plotly output again because this is a ggplotly. Sorry.
No fun. I learned far more by mistakes than I ever did from success. ggplotly.
Yeah. So.
I've figured out your naming convention.
There we go. We can get rid of that column.
Yeah, get rid of all this.
Yeah. And then if you Control A and then Control I, just tidies up all the. So I think we've got some bracket somewhere not quite lined up.
Let's do this. So make sure everybody's covered. Yeah. Okay. Okay, well then who are you?
That's the column.
Yeah.
Tab.
Strange. What is it saying? Open bracket. Oh, you know what? We got an extra one.
I think we're missing one actually.
Okay. Yep. Good job.
There we go.
Excellent.
Okay. So if you'd like to run that app now. Right. Okay, I think what we've probably got is one of the brackets in the wrong place.
Okay.
So from experience, I'm going to say if you look at the tab set panel and that first tab panel, just check all the matching brackets there. I think you might have an extra one.
Oh. Alright, let's see. This tab panel. Yep. That should stop here.
Yeah. So that's why we were missing a bracket down the bottom, because we weren't missing it there, it was missing here.
So that needs to go away.
No, you need an extra one.
Yeah. I do that every time.
That's okay. And then take one away from the bottom.
Right.
There we go. So run it again. There we go. So now we've got them all on separate panels.
Right.
But what do we notice about the box?
So it's too big.
Well, I think it's just too squished at the top. You know, it's right on top of those tabs, isn't it? Wouldn't it be nice just to have a bit of a margin between those tabs and the box?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
So I think, that's the next thing that we can do.
Okay.
So if we go back to our user interface, and now what we want is after width equals 12 in the column, each of those, yeah. So after the comma there, you want to put style equals quotation marks, and it's margin. I'm going to say dash, takeaway sign, that's the one, top, colon, 33px. Now, obviously, you can have whatever number of pixels you want in this, but that's just my go-to, and then semicolon. So the first one, sorry, should be a colon, and the second one's a semicolon.
Hold my finger down.
That's it. And then before the quotation mark. So this is where we're starting to bring some CSS in to our style, and you need a comma at the end of it as well. There we go, and you can copy and paste that all the way down to all of them.
So here's a question from the peanut gallery. My object-oriented programming says if I do this 4 times, I should write a function that does this. Is that what you were talking about earlier with modules? Like, is this just more effective than, say, creating a list with these terms in it and iterating through the list? list?
Yeah, so there are different ways of doing this. You could write a module, which would be a user interface module. And then it might be that, one of the things that changes is the type of plot output that you've got. So you could call on different ones. And then you can use something like an lapply that would go through, and each of these would have a different ID. And there are things you can do if you're doing things lots and lots of times. I find if it's sort of 4 like this, then it's probably not worth it. But that's probably my inexperience with modules as much as anything. And it would take me probably longer to write a module than it would for me to write this out 4 times.
Cool.
But yeah, so if you run that, you can probably see.
Nice.
Yeah. So it just gives it that bit of space, bit of breathing room. It doesn't feel like it's on top of it anymore. Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so what I was going to suggest now is that we actually move this entire tab panel down, and actually just above it, we're going to move that slider over the top of it.
Okay.
So if you scroll up slightly, you already have the code for the slider. So what we want to do is, before the tab set panel, we're going to put in a fluid row. So put some space in there. So we want a fluid row. So this is now setting our row up.
What is the difference between fluid row and fluid panel?
So a panel would be the entire sort of section of the panel, whereas a row it's where you sort of try and grid things out. So if you're trying to say, this is where I want to put something, it might be a load of drop-down boxes, but you want to have them all lined up. So you put them all within a row, and then you can use columns to split that row up. So if you think of your entire section as your panel, and then you want to break it down and to make it into little sections, then you just want to use a ruler. This is your row, this is your column, and think about how you're going to split all those things up. What do you want lined up? Is it your columns? Do you want your rows lined up? How do you want to split that area?
Okay. Cool.
So that it looks nice. So within our fluid row, we're going to, again, I like to put everything in a column. Personal preference.
Yeah.
I just find everything lines up ever so slightly easier. So don't forget your bracket after column.
Bracket after column. So width.
Yeah.
Equals.
And we're going to have it the entire, yeah. That's it. Okay, and then let's put our box in again. I like my boxes. Again, I just think they make for keeping everything neat, everything sort of contained. It's your little container that you put things in. So.
Yes. Same thing, status primary?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what some of the other statuses are, but I can't off the top of my head.
And the next video, subject for the next video.
Yeah, other colors that you can have. So then you actually want to put your slider input. So you can copy and paste from 20 down to 24. And we pop that in our box. Okay. So if we now delete 20 to 24, we can get rid of that and just leave that as empty for now. And we'll work on the next bit. So you're missing a comma on line 30. It's always the thing that's missing, isn't it? A comma or a bracket.
And every expression,
Yeah. So if we run that now, what we're going to see is our slider input has moved from the side to the top.
Wow.
So we can move that and our plots will change. And it affects all 4 of our plots. So. Those
Whoa.
are. Ooh. Go to graphics card.
Yeah.
So there we go.
One thing I never figured out about my last app was how to make the box longer to fit the plot, or you know what I mean, to make it reactive to all that.
Yeah, so the box I can do, the panel behind it, yeah, 2 years later, I still haven't figured that one out.
Okay. Wait, let me make a note because I'm gonna figure out how to make that longer. What is that in the UI though? What is that background called? Because it's shiny.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's the panel. I think I kind of looked into it at one point and then I basically gave up and just went, you know what? It's really not worth my effort. No one's ever complained about it. So,
Okay, awesome.
but yes, it really should be sorted and tidied up. And I will go and look it up and attempt to fix it.
Tops and tails.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
So this can be a different color. Can this be a different color?
so yes, it's all in your using CSS, and you can
Mm,
change all of that.
okay.
Um, and you can put themes, and you can put a CSS file inside a www folder, and it will read it as a theme if you wanted to, so that things sort of keep that same color throughout. Um, I am not a pro with it. I've messed around,
Mm,
but it's not something I can do off the top of my head, unfortunately, at the
mm.
moment.
No, and it's generally probably not required either. I mean, I've never
No.
seen. I've seen a few that are like that, but they're mostly student projects where there's plenty of time and no deadline. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think, the majority of shiny apps, you can kind of sit there and look at them and go, that's a shiny app. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so they're quite obvious from that point of view, but they don't have to be. You just need to spend the time to go in and play around with stuff a lot more. Um, so I thought we would probably stop there for
Okay.
today.
All right. Let
Um,
me stop the recording.